Listen to me, life is tough. You're gonna get knocked down. You're gonna face obstacles. People are gonna doubt you, ignore you, laugh at you, and you know what? Nobody cares. And that's okay. Because this journey, this grind, it's yours. Stop waiting for sympathy. Stop waiting for someone to pat you on the back. You didn't come this far to quit. You didn't survive what you survived to give up now. You want success, you want greatness, then you gotta work, you gotta grind when it's hard, when you're tired, when you don't feel like it, especially when nobody's watching. Nobody cares that you didn't sleep last night. Nobody cares that life hit you hard. The world rewards results, not excuses. So what do? You show up anyway. You give 120% even when you only feel like giving 50. You keep moving forward, step by step, day by day. That's how you earn your respect. That's how you become legendary. Because when you put in the work, when you grind like your life depends on it, the results will speak. The world may not care now, but when you rise, they'll have no choice but to notice. Life is full of challenges. Every day we are presented with new obstacles, whether it's personal struggles, professional setbacks, or even moments of doubt about ourselves. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, to look at our situation and wonder, why me? Or when is this going to get easier? But here's a powerful truth that no one likes to hear. Nobody cares. The world doesn't owe you anything. It won't stop just because you're facing difficulties. Life will keep moving, and if you want to move with it, you need to take ownership of your struggles. Owning your struggles means accepting that they are part of your journey. It's easy to look around and see others seemingly cruising through life with little to no issues. You see someone else getting recognition, a promotion, or moving forward in ways that seem so effortless. It's natural to feel envious or discouraged, but when you begin comparing yourself to others, you're losing focus on the one thing that actually matters, your own progress. Your path, your struggles, and your triumphs are unique to you. That's something you have to own if you want to succeed. When life knocks you down, it's tempting to look for someone to blame. You might point to external factors. The economy is tough. The competition is fierce, or even I didn't have the right opportunities. It's easy to get caught in the trap of making excuses, of looking for someone or something else to explain why things aren't going the way you planned. But the reality is, excuses won't get you anywhere. Excuses don't change anything. They don't fix problems. They don't move you forward. They only keep you stuck. You have to take ownership of where you are right now. That doesn't mean you have to love every single moment of it or be okay with every setback. But it does mean acknowledging that you are where you are because of the choices you've made. If you want things to change, if you want to move forward, you have to change your approach. You have to make different choices. And you have to be honest with yourself about what needs to change. It's incredibly easy to fall into a mindset where you think the world owes you something. Maybe you feel that because you've worked hard, because you've been through tough times, that it should be easier for you now. But nobody cares. Nobody is going to hand you success because of what you've been through. That's a hard pill to swallow, but once you accept it, you realize that the power to change your situation lies in your own hands. If you really want to succeed, you have to stop waiting for the world to acknowledge your struggle. You have to stop expecting sympathy and start expecting results. The only thing that will truly move you forward is action, not validation. The people who succeed are not the ones who wait for someone to feel sorry for them. They are the ones who push through the challenges, who keep working even when no one is watching, and who keep showing up despite the setbacks. It's also important to realize that owning your struggles doesn't mean you have to face them alone. Sometimes we think we have to handle everything ourselves, but reaching out for help, asking for advice, or seeking support is also part of ownership. It's about taking responsibility for your journey, but that doesn't mean doing it in isolation. There is power in collaboration, in learning from others, and in sharing your experiences. Owning your struggle means recognizing when you need to lean on others while still maintaining responsibility for your own growth. One of the biggest mistakes people make is expecting others to care about their struggles. The truth is, most people are focused on their own lives, their own battles, and their own struggles. The world won't stop to feel bad for you, and it shouldn't. You have to be your own biggest supporter. It's up to you to believe in yourself when no one else does. You can't wait for someone to tell you that you're doing great or that things are going to get better. You have to keep moving forward even when no one is there to cheer you on. Because when you keep pushing despite the challenges, that's when you start to make real progress. This is where the power of grit comes in. Grit isn't just about hard work. It's about resilience. It's about knowing that life isn't fair, but continuing to move forward anyway. Grit is the understanding that nobody cares about your struggles, but also the acceptance that you don't need them to. You don't need sympathy. You don't need validation. What you need is determination. You need the kind of determination that doesn't stop when things get tough. The kind that gets up every morning and says, today is another chance to make progress, no matter how small. Owning your struggles also means being accountable for your actions. If you've made mistakes, don't shy away from them. Don't blame others for where you are. Own those mistakes, learn from them, and keep moving. If you failed at something, it's not the end of the road. It's just another lesson, another stepping stone on your path to success. The sooner you realize that your failures are just opportunities in disguise, the sooner you'll stop feeling defeated by them and start using them as fuel to keep going. So what do you do when nobody cares? You work harder. You show up. You keep grinding. You put in the hours, the effort, and energy. You keep moving even when it feels like nobody notices. Because in the end, it's your results that will speak for themselves. It's your growth, your determination, and your success that will be noticed. But none of that will happen if you don't first take full ownership of where you are and where you're going. Nobody cares. And that's okay because you don't need anyone else to care. You've got this. You just need to take control, keep pushing, and trust that your hard work will pay off. In the journey towards success, one of the most misunderstood ideas is that you must always feel motivated in order to work. People often believe that the key to productivity and achieving greatness is being constantly inspired. They think they need to be in the mood to feel that rush of excitement before taking action. But the truth is, if you wait on motivation, you'll be waiting forever. Motivation is a temporary emotion. It comes and goes. It's unreliable. If you want to win in life, if you want to be great, you can't base your actions on how you feel. You must base them on commitment, on discipline, on showing up every single day, no matter what. That's the essence of consistency over emotion. There are days when you'll feel on fire. Days when the sun is shining, you slept well, everything feels right, and your energy is high. On those days, working hard feels easy. You're focused, inspired, and ready to tackle any task in your way. But what about the days when none of that is true? What about the days when you're tired, stressed, emotionally drained, or just not feeling it? That's the real test. That's where greatness is built. Those are the days when discipline must take over. If you only work hard when you feel like it, you'll never reach your potential. The most successful people in the world work through the days they don't want to. They've mastered the art of consistency. They've trained themselves to keep going no matter how they feel. It's easy to make a plan when you're excited. Anyone can set goals when they're pumped up, watching a motivational video or talking about dreams with friends. But what happens when that excitement fades? When life hits you with stress, rejection, failure, or even boredom, how do you respond then? That's where discipline comes in. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't want to do it. It's about having a standard that you live by, a non-negotiable mindset that says, I will show up no matter how I feel. That's what separates those who dream from those who execute. Some people confuse emotions for truth. They think, I don't feel like working today, so maybe I need a break, or I'm not in the right mindset, so it's better to wait until tomorrow. But feelings are not facts. Your emotions can lie to you. They fluctuate based on so many factors: sleep, weather, relationships, stress. And if you let them control your actions, you'll never gain momentum. Success doesn't ask how you feel. Success doesn't care about your mood. It cares about your actions. It rewards the person who keeps going through the discomfort. The person who wakes up tired but still shows up to the gym. The person who's discouraged but still opens their laptop to work. The one who doesn't wait for permission from their emotions to take action. When you build your life around consistency, something amazing happens. You begin to trust yourself. You create a reputation with yourself that says, I do what I say I'm going to do. That builds confidence. That builds character. That builds momentum. Every time you push through a low moment and still take action, you reinforce the idea that you are capable, strong, and reliable. Over time, those small acts of discipline compound into massive results. That's why people say success isn't about intensity, it's about consistency. You don't need to go all out every single day. You just need to show up and give your best. Even if your best today is 60%, just give 100% of that 60. Many people burn out, not because they're working too hard, but because they're too emotionally attached to their work. They're trying to feel perfect before they act. They wait for inspiration, and when it doesn't come, they procrastinate. That builds guilt, frustration, and eventually leads to burnout. But when you operate on a system, when you know that Monday means work, Tuesday means training, Wednesday means studying, and you stick to that system regardless of how you feel, you take the pressure off your emotions. You don't have to feel perfect to be productive. You just have to be present and do the work. Consistency also builds respect, not just from others, but from yourself. When people see that you're reliable, that you show up, that you're about action and not just talk, they begin to trust you. More importantly, you begin to trust yourself. That inner trust is everything. It gives you peace. It gives you power, because you know that no matter what happens, no matter what mood you're in, you will show up and handle your responsibilities. You will honor your goals. That kind of discipline builds unstoppable momentum. You have to train yourself to separate how you feel from what you need to do. It takes practice. It takes intention. Every time you override the feeling of laziness or doubt or fear and instead choose action, you strengthen your mental toughness. That's the muscle you want to grow. Because talent can only take you so far. But discipline, that's the trait that will carry you through any storm. That's what makes people resilient. That's what builds legacies. People who win in life aren't the ones who always feel like winners. They're often the ones who feel tired, scared, overwhelmed, but they move forward anyway. They wake up early when they want to sleep in. They study when they want to relax. They push themselves when no one is watching. And over time, that consistency becomes their identity. They don't need to feel like doing it. It's just who they are. And once you make consistency part of your identity, nothing can stop you. Some days you will feel like quitting. That's normal. But don't make permanent decisions based on temporary emotions. Step back, breathe, and remind yourself why you started. Remember that the pain of discipline is far less than the pain of regret. Skipping one day turns into 2, then a week, then a habit of quitting. But showing up, even when it's hard, keeps you on track. It keeps the fire alive. It keeps you moving forward, inch by inch. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. You don't have to feel good. You just have to show up. Because when you do, even on your worst days, you're still putting in work. You're still making progress. And that's what separates the dreamers from the doers. That's what turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. So stop waiting for motivation. Stop letting your emotions decide your future. Train your mind to take action regardless of how you feel. Let your discipline lead. Let your commitment drive you. Show up, be consistent, because in the end, success isn't about how you feel, it's about what you do. When it comes to achieving greatness in any field, whether it's sports, business, academics, or life in general, there is one truth that never changes. Success doesn't come to those who do just enough to get by. It belongs to the ones who push themselves beyond the limit, the ones who go the extra mile, who grind when everyone else has gone home, who study longer, train harder, and sacrifice more. These are the people who understand that excellence is not a gift but a result. They know that if you want to stand out in a world full of average effort and comfort seekers, you have to be willing to push past what's easy. You have to give more when others give up. Too often, people believe that doing what is required is enough. They show up to work, they put in the hours, they hit the basic targets, and they think that's enough to guarantee growth. But doing just enough will never make you great. That's survival mode, not success mode. The people at the top didn't get there by following the bare minimum. They went beyond. They stayed longer at the gym. They worked late into the night. They read one more book, practiced one more drill, made one more call. That extra effort, that one more is what separates the great from the good, the winners from the participant. Pushing beyond your limits means embracing discomfort. It means stepping into a space where things are unfamiliar, where the pressure is high, and where you are stretched beyond what you think you're capable of. That's where growth lives. You'll never discover your full potential inside your comfort zone. It's only when you go past the point of convenience, when you feel the burn, the fatigue, the mental resistance, and keep going, that you start to break barriers. That's where mental toughness is built. That's where champions are made. But here's the hard truth. Most people won't go there. Most people stop when it gets hard. They stop at good enough. They say things like, I've done my part. That's not in my job description. Or I'll get to it tomorrow. But the top performers don't talk like that. They aren't satisfied with average. They aren't afraid of effort. They're not waiting for permission to work harder. They push because they know their competition isn't sleeping. They know someone out there is training harder, studying longer, and fighting for the same goal. And if they want to win, they can't afford to coast. They have to outwork, outsmart, and outlast. There's a difference between talent and effort. Talent might give you a head start, but effort determines how far you go. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Some people are gifted, sure, but what good is that gift if you don't sharpen it? What good is natural ability if you never push it to its limits? The most talented person in the room can lose to the one who simply refuses to quit. The grinder, the one who keeps pushing, keeps climbing, keeps striving for more, even when it's hard, even when they don't feel like it, even when no one is watching. And let's be real, pushing beyond your limits isn't glamorous. It's not always fun. It's waking up early when you're tired. It's sacrificing parties and weekends to stay focused. It's turning off distractions, saying no to shortcuts, and saying yes to discipline. It's missing out on temporary pleasures for permanent progress. It's lonely at times. It's exhausting, but it's worth it because the feeling of reaching a goal that you fought tooth and nail for, that you earned through blood, sweat, and relentless effort is unmatched. That's the kind of success that no one can take from you. That's yours forever. Every great person has a story of struggle. They have stories of the moments they wanted to quit, but didn't. Moments where they were told they weren't good enough, smart enough, strong enough, but they didn't listen. They pushed harder. They turned pain into fuel. They made failure a teacher, not a destination. That mindset, the one that says, I won't stop here, is what allows you to break your own limits. It's what drives you to rewrite your own story because your current limits aren't real. They're just the edge of what you've already done. They are not the edge of what you're capable of. One of the biggest mistakes people make is comparing themselves to others. They look around and say, well, I'm doing more than him, or at least I'm not as far behind as her. But success is not a comparison game. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. Your only real competition is who you were yesterday. Did you push harder than you did last week? Did you give more effort than you did last month? Did you stretch your abilities beyond what you thought possible last year? That's the mindset. Always striving, always climbing, always growing. The road to excellence is paved with extra reps, extra hours, and extra effort. It's doing the things no one wants to do, the boring stuff, the repetitive stuff, the hard stuff. It's showing up on the days when your body is sore, your mind is tired, and your heart is unsure. It's staying focused when the distractions are loud and the motivation is low. It's staying disciplined when the world is telling you to take it easy. That's where success is born. Not in one big moment, but in 1,000 small decisions to go beyond what's expected. Pushing beyond your limits doesn't mean you never rest. It doesn't mean you ignore your body or your mental health. It means you develop the wisdom to know when you're truly exhausted and when you're just uncomfortable. There's a difference. Most of the time, what we label as exhaustion is really just resistance. It's our mind trying to protect us from the unfamiliar, from the challenge, from the work. But pushing through that resistance, that moment when your body says stop and your heart says one more, that's where breakthroughs happen. The world rewards the extra, not the average, not the okay, not the sufficient, the extra effort, extra heart, extra sacrifice. That's what gets noticed. That's what changes lives. That's what builds legacy. The world is full of people who want success but aren't willing to suffer for it. They want results, but not the process. They want the spotlight, but not the sweat. But you can't fake the grind. You can't cheat growth. You earn it. So ask yourself every day, did I go beyond today? Did I push past my old limit? Did I demand more from myself? Did I leave it all out there? If the answer is yes, then you are on the path to greatness. If the answer is no, then you know what you have to do. You don't need permission to push. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need the decision to go all in, to give your all, and to keep showing up, especially when it's hard. Pushing past your limits. It's not about being superhuman. It's about being fully human. It's about choosing to rise above excuses, embracing the struggle, and owning your journey. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to be relentless. Because if you want something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done. You must be willing to go where others won't, to grind longer, to fight harder, to push further. That's how you win. That's how you grow. That's how you become everything you're meant to be. The journey to success is often glamorized. People talk about the awards, the cars, the houses, the fame, the lifestyle. They see the finished product, the achievements, the medals, the recognition. But what they don't see is the pain that came before all of that. The truth is, success demands pain. It demands sacrifice, discipline, and the willingness to go through seasons where you feel like quitting every single day. There is no victory without struggle, no triumph without trials. Pain is not just part of the process. It is the process. If you're not willing to feel pain, you're not ready to grow. If you're not ready to grow, you're not serious about your goals. The pain you face on the path to greatness isn't just physical. Yes, it might be early mornings when your body screams for more sleep. Long nights when you've worked a full shift and still have miles to go. But it's also mental, emotional. It's the self-doubt that creeps in when progress feels slow. It's the loneliness of walking a road few dare to travel. It's being misunderstood or criticized and even ridiculed for believing in something bigger than the ordinary. Pain will come in many forms, and how you respond to it will determine how far you go. Everyone experiences pain, but not everyone uses it. Some people allow it to paralyze them. They feel the weight of failure, the sting of rejection, the burden of discipline, and they run from it. They numb it, avoid it, or blame others for it. But the ones who rise above, the ones who become legends, they lean into it. They learn from it. They say, this pain is here to teach me something. This pain is not here to break me. It's here to build me. That mindset shift is what changes everything. When you stop seeing pain as your enemy and start recognizing it as your greatest ally, you begin to see growth in places you never imagined. Most people don't talk about the sacrifices behind success because it's not exciting. It's not glamorous. It doesn't look good on Instagram. But the real champions know it's in those quiet sacrifices where greatness is formed. It's skipping the party to study. It's choosing the gym over the club. It's passing on the fast food for a meal that fuels your performance. It's saying no to temporary pleasure so you can say yes to long-term purpose. Pain comes from the choices you make when no one is watching. And every time you choose the harder right over the easier wrong, you grow stronger. But here's the truth. Pain doesn't always feel like progress. Sometimes it feels like failure. Like when you train your heart out and still don't make the team, or when you pour everything into a project and it falls apart. That's the pain of effort meeting reality. But those are not signs to stop. They are signs to keep going. Because pain is often a sign that you're stretching beyond where you've been. Growth rarely comes with comfort, and success never comes without setbacks. Every setback you endure while pursuing your goals is shaping you, refining you. You can't build a diamond without pressure. You can't build muscle without tension, and you can't build a champion without adversity. The pain you experience is not a punishment, it's preparation. It's preparing your body, your mind, and your spirit for what's ahead. So when you face pain, don't run, embrace it. Sit with it. Ask what it's trying to teach you, because behind every pain is a lesson. Behind every challenge is an opportunity, and behind every struggle is the seed of strength. Success without pain isn't real success. It's luck or a shortcut or something that won't last. The kind of success that leaves a legacy, the kind people respect and remember, that kind is always born from struggle. Think about the greatest athletes, entrepreneurs, and leaders. They've all gone through fire. They've all had seasons of pain that nearly broke them. But they didn't fold. They didn't give up. They used that pain as motivation, as fuel. They looked at their scars not with shame, but with pride. Because those scars told the story of how they overcame. Pain teaches you discipline. When you wake up at 4:30 a.m. to work on your dream while others are still sleeping, that's pain. When you say no to distraction, no to negativity, and no to comfort, that's pain. But that pain teaches consistency. It sharpens focus. It builds grit. You don't become disciplined by reading about it. You become disciplined by living it. Every rep you push through when your muscles scream, every hour you put in when you'd rather quit, that's where discipline is born. And discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. You might have dreams, you might have a vision for your life, but without discipline, the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it, your dreams will die. And you only gain that kind of discipline through pain. So don't avoid it, respect it, welcome it, because the more you train yourself to endure pain, the more unstoppable you become. People often ask, how do I stay motivated? The answer is simple. You won't. Motivation is a feeling. It comes and goes. But commitment, that's a decision. And commitment means choosing pain. It means doing the work even when you're tired, frustrated, or discouraged. It means showing up even when nothing seems to be working. Commitment doesn't care how you feel. It only asks, will you keep going? And every time you say yes, you grow stronger. Every time you say yes, pain loses its power to control you. Pain also humbles you. It reminds you that you're not invincible, that you have weaknesses, flaws, and limits. But it also reminds you that you can overcome those weaknesses, that you can push past those limits. It strips away ego and builds resilience. And resilience, the ability to bounce back, to rise from failure, to keep moving forward, is one of the most powerful traits you can develop, because life will knock you down. Pain will find you. The question is, will you get back up? If you truly want to be successful, you have to understand that pain is not a detour on the road to greatness. It is the road. Every great story of achievement is also a story of pain. The sleepless nights, the early mornings, the failures, the doubts, the moments where giving up seemed easier, but they kept going. They fought through the pain, and in doing so, they found strength they never knew they had. So the next time you're in pain, remember, this is the cost. This is the process. This is what it takes. And every moment of discomfort you endure today is an investment in the life you want tomorrow. Success is not about avoiding pain. It's about mastering it. And when you do, when you take control of your pain instead of letting it control you, there's nothing you can't achieve. Pain is temporary, regret is forever. The pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret weighs tons. So choose your pain wisely. Choose the pain that moves you forward. Choose the pain that builds you. Because one day when you look back, you'll realize it wasn't the trophies or the applause that made you strong. It was the pain you embraced and conquered. Every person who has ever achieved something great has one thing in common. They didn't wait for the perfect moment. They didn't wait until all the stars aligned, until all the conditions were right, or until they felt completely ready. They started where they were, with what they had, and did what they could. They didn't complain about the resources they didn't have. They didn't make excuses about what they lacked. They simply used what was available to them and made it work. That's the mindset of a winner. That's the mindset of someone who refuses to be defined by their limitations. Because at the end of the day, nobody cares how tough your situation is. What matters is whether or not you rise above it. The truth is, if you wait until everything is perfect, you'll be waiting forever. Life is never going to give you an ideal setup. It's messy, unpredictable, and often downright unfair. But you're still responsible for what you do with it. You might not have the best equipment, the best connections, or the most knowledge, but you do have a mind. You have time, you have energy, you have a choice. And that choice is powerful. That choice determines whether you take action or sit on the sidelines, whether you build or you blame. Winners take what they've got and maximize it. Excuses are comfortable. They allow you to avoid the discomfort of action. It's easy to say, I don't have the time, or I'm not talented enough, or I don't have the right background. But the moment you let those excuses dictate your actions, you give away your power, you surrender your potential. Because for every excuse you can make, there's someone out there who had the same problem, but found a way. Someone who didn't have support, didn't have money, didn't have resources, but they had drive. And drive beats excuses every single time. People think they need to wait until they feel confident, until they know everything, until they're ready. But here's the secret. You get ready by doing. You build confidence by taking action. You learn by trying, failing, adjusting, and trying again. The people you look up to didn't start with it all figured out. They started with passion, they started with hunger, they started with belief that they could improve. The journey taught them what they needed. The process shaped them. You don't need a perfect plan, you need commitment. Let's be honest, most people aren't willing to start from zero. They want the shortcut. They want the fast track. But real success starts when you humble yourself enough to take that first step, even if it's small. Even if it's not about making giant leaps, it's about being consistent, using what you have today to take one more step forward, even if that step is slow, even if no one sees it. You don't need a fancy gym to get in shape. You don't need $1 million studio to make music. You don't need a fancy laptop to start a business. What you need is hunger. Hunger turns little into much. Hunger turns average into excellence. Look at the stories of self-made individuals, the ones who came from nothing. What you'll find is not magic or luck. You'll find creativity, resourcefulness, the ability to turn a little bit of something into something powerful. They didn't focus on what they lacked. They focused on what they could do with what they had. That's how you win. Not by complaining, but by adapting. Not by comparing, but by creating. Not by wishing, but by working. Your tools may be basic. Your situation may be tough. Your environment may be uninspiring, but that's exactly where greatness is born. It's not born in perfection. It's born in pressure. It's born in the fire. It's born in the grind. When you learn to work with what you have, you become dangerous because nothing can stop a person who's willing to do whatever it takes with whatever they've got. People who succeed don't dwell on what they can't control. They focus on what they can. They don't wait for motivation to strike. They build systems. They build routines. They create momentum through action. Motivation may fade, but habits stay. You may not feel like working every day, but if you built a mindset of using what you have and pushing through anyway, you'll win in the long run. Consistency beats intensity. Showing up day after day with the same fire. That's how you separate yourself. You're not behind. You're not too late. You're not too old or too young or too inexperienced. You're exactly where you need to be to take the next step, not the final step, not the biggest step, just the next one. If all you've got is 1 hour a day, use that hour. If all you've got is a phone and an internet connection, use it to learn, to build, to grow. The tools don't make the master, the mindset does. Remember, progress doesn't require perfection. It requires intention. Every day you can either make an excuse or make progress, but not both. When you use what you have, no matter how small it is, you gain momentum. And momentum is powerful. It builds belief. It builds confidence. One win leads to another. One day of showing up leads to a week. A week leads to a month. And before you know it, you've created a foundation that cannot be shaken. It's easy to say, if only I had what they had, I'd be successful too. But you're not them. You don't have their story. You have your story. And your story can be just as powerful if you're willing to own it. Your struggles, your disadvantages, your pain, they're not obstacles. They're the very ingredients that make your success unique. Use them. Let them drive you. Let them push you to rise higher. Even the smallest actions matter. Writing one page, doing one set, making one call, recording one video, reading one chapter. These things add up. They seem small in the moment, but they create a compound effect. It's not the big wins that change your life. It's the small wins repeated daily without excuse. And you don't need anything extraordinary to begin. You just need to begin. The moment you stop waiting and start working, everything changes. You become a person of action, a person who doesn't need perfect conditions to move, a person who doesn't fold under pressure but rises. You become unstoppable because when you've trained yourself to succeed with less, imagine what you'll do when you have more. The person who makes excuses today will still be making excuses a year from now. But the person who uses what they have today will be building something greater every day. So stop waiting, stop comparing, stop overthinking, look around, look within. What do you have right now? Use it, take that first step, then take the next one and keep going, because in the end, it's not about how much you had, it's about how hard you worked with what you had. That's what makes the difference. That's what builds champions. That's what separates talkers from doers. So whatever you've got, use it and don't stop until you've created something remarkable.